This week, we conclude our series, Like Jesus. During this series, we've been looking at Jesus' life and exploring how we can see like Jesus, listen like Jesus, and speak like Jesus. We close by looking at how we can be like Jesus. When it comes to being like Jesus, our pride gets in the way. We have a tendency to want to look more powerful and impressive than we really are. Now, not all types of pride are bad. It's good to take pride in our work and our grades. We like it when someone tells us, "I'm proud of you." What I am talking about is unhealthy pride, which leads to conceit, arrogance, or superiority. This kind of pride is based on self instead of others. Selfish pride is especially destructive to our relationship with God and each other. That's because the opposite of being like Jesus is focusing on self. Here in our scripture, we have Paul teaching the Philippians how to be like Jesus. The great irony is that Jesus is the one being that is more lofty, more powerful than any other, yet he did not come to use a platform of pride and power, but rather emptied himself. He gave everything. How the Philippians struggle with pride is prevalent in this second chapter. So Paul makes a pitch for humility. This scripture is a hymn that would have been a familiar song to the church at Philippi. Hymns can be a great way to learn how to live faithfully. Paul hopes that this familiar song will drive home his point to the Philippians. It's a sneaky way for Paul to trap the Philippians in their own words. You sing like this all the time, Paul says. So isn't it high time to start living such humility in your life together? To be like Jesus, we must empty ourselves for the sake of others. God, through Jesus, showed us a path for humanity that can literally change the world. Jesus chose the path of humility. Perhaps sometimes we forget what an enormous sacrifice Jesus made on our behalf, not only at the end when he died, but every step along the way. Our text says he emptied himself so that people can have new life. My prayer for you is that you change the world and be like Jesus.